What is up, people? It is me, Monster50, and welcome back to another episode of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. In the previous part, we ended up helping Carla take care of the PCA at least fight against the PCA by helping her essentially defend some missiles that she had, and then she sent them into oblivion right against the PCA. And then we also worked for Balaam to eliminate some PCA squads, which we ended up having a bit of a trouble with. Took a few tries, but we ended up completing it no issue after a couple of tries, so not too bad there, but it did give us some difficulty. And in this part, we're going to be continuing going through Chapter 3, and we are going to be attacking the old spaceport. But the thing you guys can see is I made a new AC. So taking a look at the AC data, you can see I made a small heavy artillery, named him the Scamp. And yeah, he's got a minigun, he's got the double songbirds. In addition to that, he's got a missile launcher, or basically a rocket launcher, in the left hand as essentially our melee weapon at that point. It really, really strong. I tested this thing out. It's a lot of fun to play around with and use. But going into this episode, I think we're actually going to bring the heavyweight here because there's going to be a lot of flying that's going to be necessary in this mission. And we have the legs to do that, to be able to jump. We have the jet boosters, but we still need a little more armor, in my opinion, and some heavier firepower, just considering what we're going to be fighting against today. And you guys will see what I mean when we get into this mission. But without further ado, folks, let us head right in to Chapter 3, continue it, and hit attack the old spaceport.
Hey there, buddy. Got a request from... Here's the briefing from my CO, who came up with the plan. This is V2 Snail. I shall brief you on the operation. You will be under my direct authority. Consider it a rare privilege. We will conduct simultaneous surprise raids on 2 planetary closure administration bases. One is the Hall of Communications base, the relay for comms between enemy squads. The second is the former Bertram spaceport, seized by the PCA for its suppression fleet. V4 Rusty will be dispatched to handle the Harlov base. His objective will be to disable their network and prevent support from PC elite squads. Raven, during this time you must destroy all the heavy warships berthed at the spaceport. Solid plan, but there's a catch. Disruption of PCA comms won't last long. I'll come support you when I finish on my end.
Alrighty, like I mentioned to you guys in the previous episode, this mission is pretty important, and so I would recommend just going into it expecting the worst, which is why we're bringing the more heavyweight AC that I have that still has the ability to sort of fly again. It's not as heavyweight as I would technically like it to be. We're going to end up changing the chest at some point, but I like the chest and how it looks right now. I would put something heavier on there, but again, the chest that I'm looking for, we don't have access to yet. We'll get it, I think, relatively soonish. I can't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, just want to let you guys know this is also a very important mission going forward. So yeah, we got Rusty supporting us. We got Snail directing us, and obviously we hate that guy because he's just stuck up, pompous jerk off. But without further ado, folks, let's hop in and do our mission. Attack the old spaceport.
If this mission succeeds, the corporations will deal the PCA a major blow. Ignore V2's snotty attitude. Just focus on your own work.
Yep. At the end of the day, everyone hates the PCA, like I said, for the past, like, several episodes. We're all just ganging up on the PCA because they're jerks. Alrighty, let's move.
Commence mission. Destroy all the warships.
Code 1-5, intruder detected. Sharing all base personnel. Commencing threat evaluation.
I'm on standby near Harlov, buddy. Patch me in. I'll gauge the situation on your end before I jump in.
Alright, that guy's dead. Alright, there's going to be a lot of enemies that you're going to end up having to fight. Don't worry too much about wasting your resources. And you kind of...
Estimated threat range 3 to 4. Contain the target.
don't worry too much about wasting your resources. You kind of gather what I'm getting at here.
Taking out the relay mast. That takes care of their external comms for now. Keep moving.
Code 5, target confirmed. Moving to intercept.
External comms are out. What's going on?
Alright, for the most part, you can ignore any of the major, like, other enemies on the ground. Just focus on clearing the warships.
Looks like you're doing just fine, buddy. I'm keeping them busy, but they're working fast. Don't expect the comms blackout to hold for long.
Code 5, intruder detected. Threat level 4. Handle it.
Missed. Okay, we're good. Alright, that guy's dead. Alright. That guy's dead too. Very nice. Nice. Alrighty. See how much that boost kit comes in handy? We've been using it so much.
Target is approaching warship.
Open fire! Keep the target away!
Nope. I completely whiffed, but we're good.
Looks like you got them all, 621. You there, buddy? Bad news. PCA's external comms are back online. They've got warships heading your way. Hold out till I reach you. There's the catch. Supply while you can, 621.
Yes, where is it? Yep, I forgot where it was. So as you can tell, we're going to get a supply Sherpa here. And this should tell you everything you need to know going into the rest of this mission.
Enemy detected. They're firing from above.
Code 5, target for termination approaching. Handle it. The main squad will be here soon.
Alright, looks like they're sending in some boys, and we obviously do not want that to happen, but... Alright, that guy's dead.
Company 621 in front of the base.
Yep, that'll be right over here. You can even see on the bottom bar there below our health, that'll help you target where there are targets. So, where... Oh, we're gonna get rid of these guys. You want to bet? Alrighty, and easy peasy.
Code 1-5. Target for termination site. Time to pay the piper.
Looks like we've got high-ranking PCA officers. Sorry to keep you waiting. I've got your back, buddy. Hope you've got mine.
Code 4. Send me what you've got on the target.
Relaying system response. Corporate business for indicated mercenary rating. Data on the mercenary is being checked for detection.
Range that fellow. This means the corpse can't afford to shoot.
So as she mentioned, very similar to our first fight with the PCA. There's two of them. One of them is a melee focused, the other one's more ranged focused.
These are elite PCA enforcers, buddy. Don't give them an opening.
Setting report to system. Code 7A. Level.
So what I like to do in this fight is you can focus the one that is the melee one first and then go for the ranged one, just like the first time.
Code 7A.
Confirmed. PCA craft destroyed. I'm picking up something. I've sent you a marker. There's something there. It's underground.
What is that thing? 621, listen. Your attacks won't have any effect. Is that another PCA weapon?
This call response. There's no pilot. It's an autonomous sea.
I can't get a read on it. This is bad. Just focus on staying alive, 621. Wait, something's wrong.
It's changing its behavioral pattern, answering to a greater imperative. To protect the convergence.
Looks like the PCA has helped itself to the Institute's relics. 621, rest up at base. I'll come up with a plan to deal with our new friend.
Alrighty, so what a crazy mission. So we're able to deal the PCA a huge blow, but it seems like they have taken some of the Institute's sea weapons, which at the end of the day, you can kind of gather they're coral weapons, with this giant metal worm-looking thing, right? And so what I was trying to say, by the way, with that boss fight is it's very similar to when we fought the two PCA officers at the refueling base. There's one of them that's ranged, and there's one of them that is a melee-focused heavy hitter, like Air was saying. So my recommendation in that fight is to get rid of the heavy hitter melee one, because that guy has a lot of wide-range attacks, and you can easily get hit by one and get instantly, like, one-shot. You saw how much health I lost with a couple of his attacks. That's a tough fight. It's genuinely not super easy, which is why I went in with something a bit heavier with a little more armor, so that we'd be able to take some hits if we made mistakes, which I did very clearly make mistakes. And then once you've gotten rid of the heavy hitter, it's really not that hard to get rid of the more ranged version, the more ranged one of the two, because you got a second person with Rusty there, so at the end of the day, not too bad once you get the heavy hitter out of the way, but you really have to focus that heavy hitter, in my opinion, to do that boss fight well. Obviously, you can change your tactics based on what builds you have, but in my opinion, that's one of the tougher fights in this game. And that's my personal recommendation. That's how I've done the fight ever since then. Always focus the heavy hitter, then we get right into the killing the ranged one. So not too bad there, but definitely can be a tough fight. Do not feel bad if that fight gives you trouble. That fight gave me a good amount of trouble the first time I came around. So, but yeah, a lot we can gather from the story already. Looks like the PCA is not pulling any punches, but we did deal them a heavy blow.
Here's the situation, 621. After the PCA sicked that Institute weapon on us, Arquebus and Balaam have moved to cooperate. IA-02, aka Iceworm. It's a sea weapon, an autonomous deterrent created to protect the coral. If we don't take it out, no one's going to reach the convergence. We'll have a tough fight ahead of us, and everyone's getting involved. 621. Don't forget we've got a job to do on Rubicon. I didn't bring you all the way here for nothing.
New messages.
Heard the news, tourist. Iceworm, huh? You just keep tripping up over the Institute's relics, don't you? Well, I got something that might interest you. Sent you a briefing.
This is V8 Pater. Your performance in the spaceport raid was admirable. V2 and V4 left a message for you. But the arrival of that monster is a more pressing matter. Arquebus and Balaam have agreed to a ceasefire and are looking to cooperate, for the moment. It'll take time to formalize our agreement. For now, I've sent you another request.
Registration number RB23. Call sign, Raven. Your records have been updated. B-rank virtual encounters are now available in the arena. You have entered the upper ranks. May these encounters further guide your technique.
Alrighty, so we figured out now it is called the Iceworm, which I obviously know already, but the Iceworm. For those of you who are wondering what the Institute is, I was just doing some quick research while doing those cutscenes, while those cutscenes were going. Essentially, at the end of the day, to my understanding, from the minimal amount of research I did, the Institute is essentially like... They're essentially like the mad scientists who were able to harness coral to its fullest extent to the point where, you know, they were able to essentially create weapons out of them, which is exactly what the Iceworm was. Now, there's more lore surrounding it, but I don't want to necessarily spoil it until we get further into the story, which I'll hopefully remember to explain going into that episode that I'm thinking about. But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, we do have missions, and we do have an arena. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to save the arena for next episode, and we're going to be continuing through with the missions. Looks like got defend the old spaceport, eliminate honest brute, and historic data recovery. I believe. Let's see. This is what Carla wants us to do. I believe this is what. Oh man. Maybe Arquebus wants us to do this, and I can't remember which org wants us to do these two, but I think to start things off, let us do, trying to think of what I'd like to do here. Alright, so I decided to do is I am loading up the pile bunker one, and I think what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and save Carla's mission for last, and we'll go to defend the old spaceport.
Got a job for you, 621. We've received a request from the Arquebus group.
Raven, this request comes from our subsidiary, Schneider. It concerns the Bertram spaceport, which you and V4 brought under our control. We've received intel that a stranded PCA fleet is planning to retake the base. Your objective is to intercept the PCA and defend the spaceport. We've deployed an MT squad to support you. You use them as you see fit. That concludes the briefing. Good luck.
Alright, without further ado, let's defend the old spaceport.
The PCA are going to be fighting to win. 621. Don't forget you have MT backup.
Alrighty, it looks like we're working for Arquebus again, but once again to help stop the PCA, which me and my homies all hate the PCA.
Commence mission. Wait, something's not right, 621.
The battle's over already.
Find out what's going on.
Oh, look at that. Everyone's annihilated already. Jesus, even...
Do you read me, Raven? I've identified the target. That's the mercenary who took your name. Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings. Rated human C461. Not here to take back the rated name. However, let's see if you can do justice.
Looks like we found your license's original owner. Time to use 621.
Alrighty, so we're fighting against actual Raven.
Are you a or a hapless cloud? Either way, let us raise the wings.
There we go. Dead.
Raven, we can still... Alright. We'll watch this one. See where they go on a Raven's wings.
So, Raven, the actual Raven, is actually very tough. This is not... I don't think this is a super easy fight. Very similar build to mine, except she changed, or he or she, changed their shoulder weapons a bit different, besides the Songbirds. They have a different right-hand weapon, and they also have the Pile Bunker, very similar to my Pile Bunker build. My tip is to definitely try and dodge those Songbirds. Once you've dodged the Songbirds, it's really not too bad. After that, it doesn't really have anything else that it can really hit you with, or that he has that he can hit you with, so just be careful with this fight. Don't take it lightly. I was very lucky I was able to get that Pile Bunker hidden, because that just annihilated it instantly. But yeah, just be very careful with this fight. But crazy we run into the old Raven, right? Absolutely insane.
No new messages.
I've looked into the other Raven, the independent mercenary who attacked you. It turns out that Raven isn't an individual call sign. It's a title, passed down generations of mercenaries who champion the free will Raven stands for. They choose what to fight for, and take to the skies in flight. If that's what being a Raven means, then that's the name I want to keep calling you. Raven.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. With Raven, the one thing that we can essentially gather is if you know the character Pantheon from League of Legends, it's very similar to that in the sense that Pantheon is not the name of the actual character, it's more of a title that's passed generation to generation of whoever takes up the mantle of Pantheon, right? So very similar here, as we saw with what Air said. It's just whoever's taking up the mantle of Raven, you know? And it's really cool how the Raven moniker in this continuity really just means, you know, they take that name and they fight for whatever they feel is right, right? And so that's why I think the story is kind of very interesting in the sense that you're just fighting for what you think is right, and by picking certain missions, especially when you get the branching ones, that's when you're able to really like pick and choose your battles, right? And who you want to fight for, what you want to fight against. So, all right, let's continue on. Let's go to historic data recovery.
I have a personal request to ask you. It's about the Engabret Tunnel, which is to be shut down after it was hit by a coral surge. I want to go there and survey the area. Even before the coral surge, that place had been all but abandoned. It's an old structure, dating far back into the colonization of Rubicon. There must be items of interest from throughout the planet's history there. As I'm sure you're aware, I have no resources with which to pay you. But I can propose an alternative. If you find any wrecks left by the PCA, you should try accessing them. Both the corporations and the Rubiconians are gathering data on PCA technology. Whatever you collect, I can exchange for credits and transfer the funds to you.
Man, we're making money by selling data to other companies. Man, it sounds like the modern world, really, doesn't it? All right. I think for this mission, we don't need anything crazy. I think we will bring... I think we can just bring the regular Raven, you know, the Genesis, my main Raven sort of AC here, because it would just having a good mix of everything can be very helpful here. There's one missile... At some point, I'm going to swap this missile launcher on the right here, on the right back, because there's a better missile launcher that I like using instead of this one. But for the time being, let's head out.
I've taken a few liberties. Walter thinks you've gone on a geological survey. Thank you for doing this for me, Raven.
Yep, as you can see, we're starting to, you know, Air really wants to sort of figure out, like, a lot about the coral, you know, and wants us to learn along with her.
Let's get started, Raven. I've already located several wrecks that we should be able to recover data from. I'll send the marker data. PCA craft data. I'll exchange it for credits and send them to you later. Coral is able to conduct data and influence digital equipment. The effects of the coral surge must have brought some of the wrecks back online. Let's see what we can find.
Thought there was stuff underneath us, but I guess not. Okay. For some reason, I thought I saw something underneath us, and I was like, I don't think there is, but... Alright, nice. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that we can do here. Now exploring this cave after the coral almost annihilated us.
This data seems valuable too. I'm so glad this is turning into a profitable mission. Let's keep looking, Raven.
Alrighty. We'll head up this way. Hear that guy. This guy. Oh yeah, you watch out for this. This electrical discharge stuff is really stupid. Essentially, it'll get you ACS even faster, so be careful. You'll see electrical discharge. Yeah, you can see that. think best bet... Oh, there's one more down here. Alright, let's head this way real quick. Alright. Pretty tame mission. There's really nothing crazy here. You're mainly just going to be fighting drones and stuff like that. Another craft here we can exchange for Monet.
Expecting data. It's a schematic for an SG craft. An older generation of AC.
Interesting look. Looks very different. Text data, Professor Nagai's log number 4. Text data extracted from Iraq. The lost auto-transcription for voice recorded by Professor Nagai, the Rubicon Research Institute director. So we were just talking about the Institute, talking about it more. No, the coral tide is rising at an abnormal rate. This resonance, it suggests some kind of mutation. Run the calculations. How much time do we have? 47 hours, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. We still have time. Deploy IBIS.
According to the timestamp, this was recorded 2 days before the fires of Ibis. This seems to be about the warning signs of the calamity, right before it struck.
Yep, and we can sort of now gather that the Institute might have been the reason for the fires of Ibis, which essentially created everything that we currently know today for the lore of this game, with everything that's been happening in the War of the Coral, all that stuff.
The Rubiconians used to pilot these.
Text data, Domayan's writings number 2. Text data extracted from Iraq. This appears to come from the writings of Thumb Domayan, father of the Liberation Front, as we learned with the description of Middle Flatwell. How long has it been since I first saw her voice? Fear not, she said. There will always be plenty. She told me this as I was imbibing Rubicon's blessings one fateful day. If I were you, I'd never allow this, I replied, and I was forever ashamed by my deceit.
This seems to be a recording of Domayan, the Liberation Front's ideological leader. But this appears to be something exceptionally personal.
Yeah, and sorry about that cut, by the way, when I was doing the first thing with Professor Nagai. My frickin' controller just, like, stopped working there, so that's my fault there, so apologies for that. Got the jump on that guy. I think there's someone, yep. Alrighty, time to head over here. See what else we got.
Another old research institute, I see.
Again, very interesting look. Text data, Professor Nagai's log number 2. Text data extracted from Iraq, the lost auto, well, which we already went over. Assistant number 1 has lost his mind. His research has utterly consumed him. Granted, there may be some logic to C-pulse sensory augmentation of human subjects, but no ethical scholar would ever dare cross that point of no return. Mankind is driven mad by possibilities. What does Coral represent, if not sheer potential?
This is about the first augmented humans. The same coral technology that created you. Without it, we never would have made contact. I'm not picking up any more data stores. If this outing has made you think about Rubicon's past or the nature of Coral, then it was all worth it.
Alright, there was one more data thing down here, which I forgot to get, but yes, you can get that for extra money. I just forgot to do that, but yes, there's one in there. I forget how to get in there, and that's my fault. What I think I'll do at some point is maybe go replay that mission, and I'll just throw in some footage about where it is, but it's in there.
One new message.
What kept you, 621? You're a famous mercenary now. Time to act like one. Just get some rest. That's the important thing.
Alrighty, I'm just going to take a look at the arena, how much we have. Ooh, we do have a fair amount of arena. Yeah, so what we'll do next episode is we will do all of this arena, or maybe we'll do a few of them. We'll see how it goes, and then we will do the mission that Carla wants us to do, which is to eliminate Honest Brute, which, funnily enough, if you look at the arena, he's also in there, so right at the bottom. So without further ado, folks, in this episode, we ended up dealing the PCA a major blow. We ended up meeting the actual Raven, and now all of the corporations are also working together to get rid of that ice swarm that we saw at the end of attacking that spaceport. Obviously, being a sea weapon that the PCA has now used and has taken control over, which the initial purpose of it was to protect the coral. And also, we learned a lot about the coral convergence, and or at least the Institute, is that they were essentially the creators of the Fires of Ibis, as indicative of those logs that we just investigated in the mission that Air wanted us to do in the coral cave that we ended up escaping in the one mission a few episodes ago. And so, next time on Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, we'll be eliminating Honest Brute, doing some arena, and going forward through Chapter 3. So I hope you guys look forward to that. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, and also follow me in the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far.